In the works.
All right. Quote: "That which we most desire can be found where we least want to look." By Carl Gustav Jung.
Could you say that again? You were
okay.
away from the microphone.
That which we most desire can be found where we least want to look. And I think I'm pronouncing this right. Carl Gustav Jung.
Carl Jung. Yeah, I think so. He sounds like a
close.
philosopher. So where'd you get that quote from?
Well, I had originally posted on my Instagram, because I have on my Instagram, it's like the Twitter of Instagram, and you can just, what I do is I post quotes.
Mm-hmm.
So any quote I find that I like, I'm just like, I'll post it, collect it,
And that just sounded good.
Yeah, and I had to find it. I found that one a couple weeks ago. I don't know where I found it. I probably just heard it. But yeah. I thought it was accurate. So
yeah, nice. Well, today we have a special guest. It is Blake Gott. He's a friend of mine. Although some of you might be wondering, where's USA? And we have a video recorded. I'll post that with this podcast. But he's taken a step back from the podcast, and so it's just me today. And it's kind of weird. It's first solo run.
First solo.
Yeah. So setting up all the equipment, I was like, okay, checklist, but it'll be good. We'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Blake. So who are you in summation?
So who am I? Yeah. I am Blake Gott. I am 20 years old. I'm in college right now. Almost finished. And then, hopefully a business or marketing degree is what I'm planning. We'll see. That's the plan.
Yeah.
But Mm-hmm.
Where are you from?
I'm from technically Kansas City area. I was born at the North. What is it?
You don't have to be specific.
North Kansas City Hospital. Nobody's gonna care either way.
They're like getting half of your social right now.
No, but technically Kansas City. Grew up. Born in 2002. Grew up. I have an older brother. Younger sister, and
Yeah, it's funny. When we first met and were becoming friends, you were like, "You're so much like my older brother." And
I know. Okay, they do look very similar, but they kind of like have the same interests, which is what.
Yeah,
I think
I'd be talking about something. And you're like, my older brother was.
Yeah,
just talking
he does that
about
too.
That.
No,
he does that too. He's interested
for real.
In that. And I was like, that's a little odd. And then I met your older brother. I'm like, oh, it makes sense. We're kind of similar.
It's in some ways, but you're not the exact same.
Yeah, I could see the similarities. All right, so I kind of want to dig into this. I kind of have a format going, and I just wanted to know, like, past-wise, who were you growing up? Like, give us some context of your childhood. You could take me through as little or as much as you want. Mm-hmm. You could start from, kind of what you were like when you were young, coming up, and just like give us that progression,
Yeah. So I did private. I did private school for kindergarten and part of second grade, first grade. But yeah, I think when I was growing up, I was more quiet, and that's I think I still am more quiet.
Accurate, yeah.
But yeah, I was even more quiet. I was more shy than I am now, obviously. But I'd still talk to people, but I was more quiet. A lot of teachers said I was sweet, and I'm like, okay.
And you're like, not really on the inside, you were burning.
Not exactly, yeah. But that's how it was.
Yeah. So that was kind of like elementary school, and
that was the younger age,
doing whatever.
Yeah, middle school.
Not much happened in elementary school at all.
Not really, no.
No, just all chill.
Just chilling with friends and stuff.
And then it all changed when.
It all changed. Yeah. No, I think the big changing point was in probably like after high school.
Yeah. And we could get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But as a kid, I was shy, and yeah.
Going through middle school, what kind of set up high school here? So was that things were different, or was it still chill in middle school around that time?
Obviously, I wasn't the same person I was when I was in elementary. But yeah, I didn't play any sports really. I got into the gym in high school. Well, we'll get to that. Yeah. But middle school, yeah.
Yeah. So I want to ask, like, what during that time, like your younger, like childhood years and stuff. So I'd say middle school, maybe even like early high school. But when you're younger, what kind of stood out to you? Because I know as like a kid, you're just watching and observing, and things kind of stick with you, and you just kind of look at the world in a particular way. And of course, until that changes when you get older or something happens. So, what kind of stood out to you? What did you see? What did you observe? How did you think the world was at the time?
Yeah. So I grew up Christian, and well, I still am, but that was the outlook I basically had, and it was kind of, I mean, when you grow up learning that, like, that's the only thing you hear. That's the way you look at things. So yeah, I was, that's the outlook I had.
You just kind of looked through like yeah. And how was that for you? Because I feel like your opinion has probably changed from then to now, or like your belief and such. So what was that kind of like then? Were you just like, whatever Sunday school teaches, or were you questioning about things, or?
At that time I was not questioning. I don't think I'm not really. Obviously, the older you get, the more like is this like, I should actually think into this and stuff, and that's normal to question things. In middle school, I probably wasn't at that time. Elementary, I was too young for that. So
all that you were just kind of chilling. You were
kinda
doing the normal thing. You know, that's nice. The last 2 guests I've talked to, they're like, yeah, everything happened when I was born. You know, like I was like, damn, lots of stuff through the childhood. So that's kind of nice. You just cruising through normal kid stuff, learning some lessons. Were there any kind of fond memories you have of that time? Just
I guess just we did. I liked having siblings when I was a kid.
Yeah,
because
you got somebody to play with.
Yeah. If I get kids, I'm not having one kid, because it's just, like, I don't know. I like the loneliness of just one kid, because then you can't play with anyone when you're a kid.
But then you also don't get like bullied and smacked around, right?
Yeah, my brother, we did wrestle a lot. It was but it's, it's worth it, just having people to chill with when you're at home.
Yeah. So. And I guess when you get older too, it's like now you got somebody that, you could go years without speaking to each other and then come back and it's like, you're my brother,
Yeah. Yeah, that's how that works.
Somebody to chill with. All right. So that was kind of like the more like, easygoing, cruising through. I know in high school things started to change for you. It changes for a lot of people. I mean, you're 20, so you've only lived so much life, but yeah. So kind of take me through what happened, what started to change, maybe your thoughts about stuff, like what, stuff like that.
Yeah. So, I was tired of, I guess, being, I was tired of being shy, and that was kind of the thing that motivated me to branch out, I guess. And that happens normally, like at an older age, when you kind of like, you're out of high school, out of the weird stage, and then you branch into being your own person.
Yeah, you're like, oh, maybe I should shower. Maybe I should take care of myself.
Yeah, I did shower, but it's just, I was completely, you're a different person in that time.
Yeah. And around like what age was this? Like, was it, early high school that this kind of midway?
I guess it's incremental, but the biggest part was at the end of high school when I was 18. Just graduated.
I'm an adult now.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that led to that, but yeah.
Gotcha. And I just wanted to ask, like, what were some challenges just in that portion, like just maybe early high school, coming out of middle school? Did you, because you said incrementally you were starting to kind of change things and kind of question things and, be outward looking and try not to be as shy and stuff like that. So what were some challenges in that aspect where it was kind of difficult?
Yeah, like the entirety of high school?
Yeah. Like, I mean, you could get into whatever. You could start in the beginning and progress through. Because I know we're going to hit kind of a serious topic with you. And
yeah. So yeah, middle school, I guess that's when middle school, early high school is when I started developing, I guess. Just developing.
Makes sense. Yeah. It happens.
No, but yeah, there was just, I wanted to be, less. That's when you start to you realize like, maybe I shouldn't like dress weird like this, or just be, more inclined to talk with people. Because that was a big issue, I guess. It's not like I was silent completely, but at that time I wouldn't like ask questions in school. And it was hard to just randomly start talking to people. So that was a challenge, and I wanted to change. I was like,
Yeah.
it's time to.
Was there any like wins where you were like, hey, now I'm now I'm on the upswing a little bit, just something good that came out of that, like you're like, okay, it's challenging, I want to get out of being shy, but after that, were you able to, start changing things, start talking to people, or was it just it's been an incremental thing for a while?
It's both. I mean, there's big like friend groups and stuff that I got in early high school and stuff, which were, because normally it's like you're friends with some people and then like not a group, so it's kind of just random. But then when you actually get a group, it's more you can
there's a dynamic
more. There's a bigger
build each other up. Sometimes it goes the opposite way.
Because in high school you can't trust.
You get a bunch of stupid together. It's just a lot of stupid.
There's not a lot of maturity in high school.
Yeah.
So.
No, I gotcha. And so what year did you graduate?
I graduated in 21.
21. So that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And so that kind of hits a big question, or kind of a big event, is you were in high school during 2020.
Yeah.
During all that stuff. And of course there were some things in that. You could share as much or as little as you want.
Yeah.
It's fine. But just kind of take me through just a little bit before that, because you were in high school, and then just keep going, I guess.
Yeah. So obviously 2020 COVID, that was a big thing. I feel like I remember hearing one day it was like 300 cases in Missouri just in the day, or it was either that day or like that was the max amount of cases that have been in Missouri. So it was like, it's still a tiny thing. And that's when a lot of places were shutting down. Like I went to Bass Pro and there was just like nobody there. It was pretty empty.
You're like, why is this?
And then we went to Walmart to look at the shelves, and like that's when like all the toilet paper was gone.
So you didn't exactly like know what was going on.
No,
yet?
well I wasn't panicking. Like, I mean, a lot of people are obviously concerned, but like I was going there to look. I was like,
well. And how was that like school wise?
It affected school a lot because I can't remember. I think it was 2020, when like half of the school year was basically just wiped out. Mm-hmm. So we had like online school for the rest of the year, which was it was really easy because they're not set up for that yet. So they just hand out like one assignment a week, and you're good to go. Did
you feel like you learned stuff, or were you one of the people who was actually able to still pick up information, or did you like completely?
You could pick it up. It just wasn't a lot because
Gotcha.
It was such a limited amount that we were given.
I remember my calc teacher, because I was taking calc, I think in 2021, and he was saying like all the students, or a lot of teachers he was talking to, all their students didn't know anything for the next course. So he was having to go back and like teach previous class information and then try to shove in like the new stuff and just try to get it all in there. Because a lot of kids, I mean, they didn't get taught their stuff. So, And how was that kind of at home? Were you just gaming all day? Were you were you going outside? Were you?
I was probably just chilling inside, probably riding my bike. I mean, there was a lot of free time, obviously, with not a lot of school. But that's what we did. And then that was the rest of the school year until I think my it had to be my senior year was the next year or whatever. But and then so that's 2020, and then 2021 was that was a rough year. I think that's probably the biggest changing point compared to all other places. But it was a rough year. So
what kind of happened in that? Like you could even dip into the tail end of 2020. Like what were things like before? And then of course, like the year itself, like how did that progress itself?
Yeah. 2020, when I went to Bass Pro, we were on a trip in near Branson. So yeah, we were just chilling, the entire family. And so yeah, that was a good time. But then yeah, we just kind of kept rolling on as COVID went worse and stuff. Um, but yeah, then 2021, I think it was midsummer.
Mm-hmm.
My grandpa got COVID, and I can't. He was, let's see, I don't know how old he was. Well, he was in his 70s, and that obviously isn't a good mix.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, he passed away from that. I mean, it's yes, it's a it was a tough thing, just that alone. Because I hadn't lost anyone previously to that.
Have you ever lost a family member before that?
Yeah, no family. I mean, besides like a great grandma, but obviously my grandpa was a lot closer to me. Because we used to go out all the time, and just take him and my grandma would take us shopping, and then of course when we were kids we'd play at the play place like at McDonald's and stuff like that. And so you can remember the good memories and stuff.
So you were really close with him, like you saw him often.
Yeah, probably like multiple times a week at least.
Dang.
Yeah, they loved taking us out and stuff.
How did that affect your family and of course you?
So yeah, I think I took it pretty well. Obviously it's still tough when you have to like sit in the hospital room and like hear that, we have to let him go. Cause that's the only choice. That was presented basically. I mean,
were you not allowed to see him because of COVID, or were you able to? Because
So,
I know some hospitals that was.
yeah, it was very strict. There was only a certain amount of people that could go in the room. And for whatever reason, I just decided against to go in the room while he passed away. But yeah, I think, I just didn't want to see that at the time. So I think I took it decently well. I think my dad took it the worst.
Yeah.
And that kind of.
I mean, was it his father? Or was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was his father. Yeah, and that's just. Yeah, he. Yeah, there were some times when he would get angry, and that's kind of. That makes sense. He was definitely going through a lot, because obviously when you live your entire life with someone and then just lose them, and when you're already going through like other problems, like at that time we were going through some financial problems. So I think a mix of those things really made it worse for him. But yeah, it was tough that part of the year, and then so what after that kind of happened, like you said that was during summer and such. Yeah.
And so the school year was about to start, and how was that going into the next school year? I don't know. Were you guys still online? Were you in person?
So yeah, we were, I believe, let's see. It was, that was 21.
Yeah.
After, or I guess it was, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it had to have been after school or during school. When I was in school. So that year it was pretty strict. It was like mask, and then of course the lunch tables.
We're all separated.
We had like triangle tables that we each had our own of.
Damn. And I guess social destruction is what that feels like.
Yeah, because
like,
when you
hey,
only see like the person's upper face, it's like
that was kind of an interesting thing, because there were people in 2021 where I met, and I only ever saw them with the mask on. One of them including my teacher. And it wasn't until the next year where I saw them without the mask and my teacher without the mask. And I was like, oh, like in my mind, I had like this image of this individual, and it's just like their eye and their, and just how they look with the mask on, and they take it off. It's like a different person. I wouldn't recognize some people just because it was just so different.
And that was my work too. 'Cause like, you don't see the person's face, and then they take it off. You're like, oh,
Yeah. And
You
you're
look,
like,
you look different.
there were jokes about like dating and stuff. It's
Oh,
like, how do you get
yeah.
someone's mask off before, just so you can see like.
Yeah, no, that
Oh
was.
man, it was a weird time. Um, but yeah, so how was kind of school going through that? Because especially when you're dealing with like the death of a family member, like
Mhm.
that's it's weird because you still have to do like your daily stuff. You're still going through your
Yep.
daily
Done
stuff, but it's
past.
like it's just this weird background on your mind thing. And kind of how was that for you? Was it like all right? Were you kind of something you thought about often while you were in school? And
You know, at first it was hard. But then obviously the longer it is, the easier it is to deal with, and
Mhm.
you know, you start thinking about it less and less. Um, so I think during that time, I don't think it affected my schoolwork too much.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's the times when you're pretty sad and thinking about it, but it's not. Yeah, I don't think it affected it too much at the time.
Gotcha. And so kind of after that happened, like take me
Mhm.
through the next progression.
Yeah. So yeah. I let's see. Yeah. So we graduated. Yeah, 2021. And so then, yeah, went through. Trying to think.
Oh, how was that graduation? Your event? Because I know my brother, it was still in like a stadium
Yeah.
type thing, and
Yeah. No, we
it was
still.
by then it was fine. It was okay. It was
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. We still graduated in the stadium. Yeah. It was not. It was not online. That would have been. That would have been a little odd. But
yeah.
yeah, no, still stadium. I think we may have had to still wear masks at that time,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it was outside, and so yeah, it was pretty.
And to think that
It
was
was
just 2 years ago.
I know, 2 years.
You know, I feel like a completely different person from then to now,
Mhm.
so it's it's strange. And yeah.
The time range feels weird from that time, but yeah. So yeah, we graduated pretty normal. I don't think it was the mask thing was. Yeah, it was an inconvenience, but you know,
We didn't have to do too many crazy things in Missouri. I know that.
yeah,
Like even in Kansas City, there wasn't too much crazy stuff. So
yeah, it wasn't. I
it was
don't think
just like,
that
yeah,
bad.
like you were saying earlier, inconvenience. Like things were shut down and you
Yeah.
wore masks. But
Mhm.
I guess if you were a business owner, it was hellish. But I didn't. Most people I've talked to, nothing. They didn't like lose their job or anything. I know there were some people who did, and there were some people who it was like, am I gonna lose my job?
Mhm.
But at least in the spheres that I've talked to, it wasn't too much that happened here. So
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I graduated. Yeah, the timeline is a little mixed up because I graduated and then my grandpa passed in July, I believe.
so that was
So-
after.
Yeah, it was actually after. Yeah, late. I guess. Yeah, late
Okay.
summer technically, or probably
Gotcha.
middle, but yeah. So yeah, that time. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. I haven't gone back and
Yeah,
thought about it in a while.
it's kind of weird too, because you almost like you don't want to think about it.
Yeah, but
but
it's
you
also-
also want to.
It's also nice because normally you don't have these conversations in like a
Mhm.
normal
Yeah, you
setting.
just keep
right?
moving on with life and stuff.
Yeah.
Just-
So it's nice, it's nice to discuss and talk about it. So
Mhm.
yeah. So yeah, that it was already a pretty rough year with financial stuff and obviously my grandpa passing, and then I believe it was 3 months later, my dad got pneumonia. So he was looking for a job, and
Oh, did he lose his job during COVID?
so he had a coffee shop, right? And
Gotcha.
it was in a library. Actually, the same brand library as this.
Oh, Mid-Continent.
yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, obviously at the time they're very strict on
Mhm.
that, so they were literally closed for a year.
Oh, so he.
And at that point, yeah, you can't do much of that.
Yeah. So
Um,
So he was one of the people affected by.
Yeah. And luckily, of course, like we got a grant. I found out later, which assisted, yeah,
Yeah.
the grant. But yeah, so he got pneumonia, and then a week later he got COVID, which is not a good mix at all.
No.
So
Isn't COVID like a lung thing? It was
yeah,
respiratory.
they're
and
both.
pneumonia is respiratory as well.
So yeah, And at this time, school was just starting.
Your final year?
No,
Or
this
college.
this was college. This is the college I'm at right now.
What year was this?
2021
Still 2020.
was the year. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was just
So it was the
brand new in
fall?
college. It was fall.
Okay.
September.
So that was a year before we met then.
Yeah, pretty. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, September. And yeah, he just the two of those don't mix together. And
Mhm.
so, and obviously, there's just some health issues too added to that. And so, yeah, he also passed away. And so, yeah, it was, I think that was a really tough time, especially for my mom. And obviously my grandma, she had to lose her husband and her kid.
Damn.
So yeah, that was tough. I mean, I think I took it pretty well. But obviously I was worried, for like my mom and other people and siblings, of course. So yeah, it was important to check in on them, and just make sure they're okay. 'Cause obviously that thing right there it's nobody wants to go through that. And it's like unlucky, right?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Did they kind of know, like, when he got pneumonia or when he got COVID too? Was there a like, hey, this isn't gonna go well, or were you guys still like, oh yeah, he'll be back?
So yeah, when he got pneumonia, he was in the hospital overnight, just because the oxygen level, he was having trouble breathing, and I believe I think it was a week later he got COVID, and then he also was at the hospital, and we were optimistic, I guess. I mean, the best you can be,
of course,
right? Because you're like, hopefully,
you're like, yeah,
hopefully
we'll make it out of this. We'll be fine,
But yeah, it just kept, getting worse and worse. And at some point you kind of get the hint that like he may not make it. And then
how long was he in the hospital for with COVID?
I believe it had to have been at least a month or close to it. So yeah,
he was struggling for a while then.
Yeah. He was fighting.
Damn.
And that time was really hard because you can't pause things. Like I started to go to work.
Yeah.
And that was one of the worst shifts I've had to go through. Just the stress, the constant stress.
And your mind is not on your work at that point.
Yeah, no. I'm just like locked in on something else the entire shift. But yeah, the stress was just the worst I've ever had. But yeah, that's and then eventually it feels weird to say, but when he passed away, it was like almost a relief. Just
because it was like tension before.
Yeah, just all the stress from that, and it's like, and if you're a Christian, you believe he'll go to heaven, which is comforting. Obviously, it's you miss him still.
Yeah.
But that's it was a tough time, and so so we just said, I'm trying to think time range.
Yeah, like what happened afterward? Like what?
Yeah, so we had to let him go basically. So yeah, that was the hard part. And then after, it's just everything continues. I took work off and school off for a couple weeks just to get set back in. But yeah, after that, I mean, it's just kind of life keeps going, right? And you can't just stop and give up. So that thing, I don't know, that moment, it just motivated me a lot to get better and I don't know, just become a better person.
Yeah. So earlier you were talking how that was kind of a changing point, of course, because it's a significant event. In that time where things were happening and you weren't sure, like how did that kind of change you? How did your behavior change from, before when it's like, oh, everything's fine. And although you were dealing with your grandfather's death, it's like, okay, things are all right. And
Yeah.
I guess both of those, they were so close that they probably mixed in with each other a little bit. But what do you think was kind of that difference between, right before and then during? How did your mindset shift?
Yeah, I knew I couldn't just give up and stop what I was doing. I need to keep on progressing, and that kind of I guess it sort of made me tougher in a way, in that it just, I don't know, it gave me motivation to change myself into a better person. And yeah, I'm not sure exactly what that part was, but it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of clicked at that moment.
Yeah.
It could be a mix between that and also just getting older and like the switch between high school and college. But yeah, I think it was just that moment. I was like, I'm just gonna try my best to improve myself
Yeah.
from what I previously was.
How did you kind of get the news on that stuff? Was there a phone call or were you there?
So yeah, I was there. So obviously, it's hard as much as you want to visit. It's hard, because it's hard to see, right? So I had visited, I think 2 or 3 times, and I think my mom had visited almost every day, as much as she could, as much as she was let to. But yeah, we were just my grandparents woke me up in the morning, and you can kind of tell, just like nobody said anything. Me and my sister, the entire drive to the hospital.
Yeah.
Because we knew, right? So yeah, and then we kind of knew yeah, he was gone at that point. So yeah, and then yeah, just had to just let him go. And so that was tough. That was tough. Watching your mom and your sister cry. My brother was at work. He didn't want to, see that. And he's just type, I guess. He's just kind of like that. He just didn't, I don't know. I don't think it was wrong or anything that he didn't want to go, because he just
People grieve in different ways.
Yeah. He just wanted to stick with what he was doing previously, and, but there was a lot of, we had to have a lot of talks, I guess, as a family.
Yeah.
After that, but
because you were saying there were some financial struggles and
yeah,
like
and
that.
that's So at first there were financial troubles. Obviously the grant helped with that, and my mom, her job was getting better. She was getting paid more, and so luckily that worked out, and we're in a comfortable spot now. But yeah, it was a little rough at first.
How was your family kind of after that? Because one thing, when I've had a family member pass away before, and to me it was like there was just this odd quiet in the house afterward. It just, for a long time, even though people would talk now and again, it's just the silence was louder than it was before. And so that was kind of my experience with that. Like, how was your household afterward? Were people just trying to keep going, trying to keep things afloat? Where you mentioned that there were talks, like, did you guys have conversations about what had happened and things?
Yeah. So, obviously when you lose someone, it's like the house is going to be a little quieter because they're gone. So you're like,
yeah. And
sometimes you forget, you're like, where is he? And then he's not. Yeah. He's like, oh, well, yeah. But I think we did a good job of kind of, I don't want to say pushing it aside, but we still tried to, communicate freely, like unrestricted from that, blocking us out of conversation, I guess.
It's a really healthy thing to do.
Yeah, I think we did a good job of continuing to talk and not just, like, I don't think our house was quiet after. Yeah. Obviously, like the week after, it was quieter just because it just happened.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But I think, it was.
It kind of brought you guys together, or kept you? You guys
Yeah.
didn't like fracture at all. You
Yeah,
very
no,
strong.
we were sticking together, and
Yeah.
I don't think it affected it too much.
How did your dad affect you as a person? Like what did you learn from your father?
So yeah, he always taught me a lot of life, I guess, life advice, and just general life advice. And one time he sat us down. He made us read a book on like I think it was, what's the name of the book? It's Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh yeah.
And so that's because he was an entrepreneur. So it's
So
like,
that's where you get. Always wondered, because you always had like even though you don't own a business, you always had that kind of entrepreneurial
Yeah,
spirit.
no.
And so I'm
Yeah,
guessing
just
that's
kinda
where that
followed.
came from.
yeah. So yeah, he made us read that, and he would kind of do those things, and I appreciate it. And also the times like when I didn't want to do stuff, but he forces you to
The discipline.
branch out and be a better person. That's that really helped. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice. So it's kind of like major struggle in recent time, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of define the past few years. How did you kind of grow from that struggle, from that challenge? Because I know you said it was kind of a turning point for you when your grandfather passed, and then of course your father. But like in what way do you feel you were different after having to go through that? Because now it's a couple years later and such, and that's still recent. But what have you kind of how have you changed your direction from what happened?
Yeah, I've had the biggest growth after that time period. I feel like I've had for like my entire, I don't know, early childhood and stuff. So, so yeah, I guess it made me more independent, just more determined to develop myself. Because previously I just wasn't I don't know, I wasn't in line with I don't know, I'm trying to put my thoughts into words. But yeah, I don't know, I wasn't exactly trying to improve myself in a huge way. Obviously in high school I was going to the gym from time to time, but that's just one thing, right?
What got you into the gym? Because I know you were talking about that, how you got into that. Was there anything specific, or you just start going?
So yeah, my family, we had a a membership, like a family membership for the community center, and so I just started going. And also along with that, I had weight training classes. I think my junior year and stuff. So, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to. I'd always been a skinny kid.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm still skinny, but I was I didn't like the way I looked. So yeah, I wanted to change that. And so I was like, yeah, I'll just go to the gym.
Start going hard.
Go to the gym with my dad, and yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So
So
we're both kind of on the same journey. To be better at the time. But
yeah. And did going to the gym at all help when things were going down, and even after? Because I know for me, anytime stuff happens, it's in the gym where I could kind of let some steam off.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it really is. It's a good form of therapy, I think.
Gives you time to think too.
Yeah, it's you just just lifting weights, and it's like, and even if, because I normally go to the gym by myself, so it does give a lot of time to just think about things and just work on yourself, and it's like, yeah, release that pressure. So yeah.
So that was all in 2021, you say?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
pretty much.
Okay. So what kind of happened like the next year? Because the next year is when I met you. So I'm trying to kind of bridge the gap between, then and then kind of the present. So what kind of like fill that in for me? Because
yeah. So
That's like a year ago. It's 2022.
A year ago.
So.
Yep. I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like that, but it's like it is.
You feel like you've aged like 500 years.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So I had been taking classes with my sister, because at that time we just had one car we shared. So yeah, we'd been taking classes together, and that time. There's a big difference between high school and college. And college, I don't know. It's weird. I think less people talk in college classes than in high school. At least that's my experience. But I still wanted to, just completely change who I was previously. So like basically act confident until you are.
Yeah.
And that's
fake it till you make it.
no, that's kind of what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And so, just started talking more often, meeting new people. And although I feel like that first year of college, I didn't really have a friend group. I kind of just went to, since I was with my sister, I couldn't stay after anything. So I just went to classes, and then we would go home and then, do work and stuff like that. But yeah, when I shortly previously to meeting you is when I finally, like got a friend group and stayed longer at school.
Yeah,
long enough to.
So was that kind of
chill.
the early stages of the friend group and such?
Yeah,
like when people were just sitting at the same table.
Yeah, because I previously known Peyton from high school.
Yeah.
And
Which is
Gabriella.
funny.
Yeah, and I randomly saw him one day, and I went up to them, and then also Tim, I believe, was there, and that's kind of what branched into to what our group is now.
Yeah.
But that was the starting point. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what kind of how did that affect you? You were staying after a little more, maybe playing some more games, not necessarily video games, but like ping pong and, I mean, I guess we were playing Among Us at one point. Not necessarily me, but
we may have, yeah.
You guys in the student center would get in a circle and play.
Yeah, we did
that was toward the end of the year, though.
I think we did that once.
Yeah. How was that kind of getting a friend group in college? How was that different from friend groups in high school? And how did that help you out with everything?
Yeah. So the high school friend groups, I feel like when you're in that time, it's a little less mature, and it's harder to have a closer sort of group. But yeah, in the college, it was previously I would just been, chilling by myself, and I had a couple of friends. But having an actual friend group was nice because it was like, you can all rely on each other, and you just, you see each other consistently. And so that's, yeah, I mean, that was a good addition to my life, I guess.
Yeah. I would say so too. So, I was kind of thinking, like, what are you up to now? Where are you going now? Like, what are you doing? Are there any current struggles you have right now that, of course, you're comfortable with sharing? Like, what are you dealing with now?
Yeah. So I feel like right now it's a pretty good time in my life. So yeah, I think, I'm in the last, next semester will be my last semester of this college.
That's right. Yeah.
And then I'll either transfer or I will just be, finished. And I need to decide that eventually, but, that's one thing. Right now I don't really have a lot of struggles. Even with people passing away, I feel like I don't think I pushed it aside. I think I just kind of accepted it and moved on in a way. And I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, mentally right now I'm pretty good. Like,
so I guess that goes to my next
there.
question. Like, what are some current wins? Like, what are you proud of yourself for doing or being at the level you're being at now? Like, what are you like? Damn, Blake, good job, nice.
Just new relationships, and it's just meeting new people, a lot of things in the gym that I'm constantly progressing on. Just learning new things is, I don't know, that's just kind of a thing that's, it's like it branches, like you learn one new thing that motivates you to keep going. But yeah, I mean,
So speaking of motivation, almost, what drives you as an individual? You know, why do you do what you do? What pushes you every day?
To be better than I used to be, basically. Because I think people have underestimated me. So it's like,
Is it like a vendetta? Like, I'm gonna get revenge by being
the
great.
original motivation, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
partially.
Okay.
That adds to it. So it's like, you know,
Yeah.
gotta
So-
prove them wrong.
So you said that was like the initial one. So how has that kind of changed? You know, so then it was kind of more just prove them wrong. But is it still that way now? Or are you still like prove them wrong?
It's
or
like-
is it just a little less
It's
and maybe
more
more
like
something
proving myself wrong in a way, like, you know.
else? Shedding your old skin.
Yeah.
Never satisfied with who you are now.
Yeah, that's you know, that I should
Kinda,
that should be, yeah, in a way that should be the goal, but also at the same time you should accept,
Yeah.
you know, in a way.
That's a very balanced mindset on there.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as like future, what aspirations do you have for the future, you know, and what are you doing now to fulfill them?
Yeah, so I'm definitely not in the place that I feel like I'm my best at yet. So it's a lot of mental things, like just mental strength is one thing that's that I need to work on. Because like waking up early, obviously nobody likes to, but that's a thing that could structure your entire life into, you know, doing better.
Yeah.
And so that's just making these good habits is something that I need to set and just, you know, keep improving on. But yeah, I'm trying to plan it. I'm trying to plan out, like financially what I'm going to do, because that's a tricky part. And it's easy to avoid in a way, because like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Like until you're struggling, you're like, I'm fine.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
that's
And you're like,
one of the.
let's get a lockdown.
I think
first.
that's I think that's one of my worst traits. I'd say, just kind of waiting to see what happens until it's a little late. But I think something with marketing would be
you
the
want
plan.
to go
But
into that zone.
I need to really actually hunt for something.
Mm-hmm.
I've just kind of been putting that off.
I mean, you could always just like dig into something and see where it goes. Because I mean, that's something I've heard. It's individuals get a little stuck on trying to find the one thing, when if they just kind of dive into something,
branch off into different things.
they might run into it anyway, or they'll be better educated on what's out there because they'll be exposed to it. And if it's something you don't like, you may be able to just like get out of that and hop over to something. So
Yeah, and it's my work right now. It's not in line with my job, so it'd be nice to, like, you could even do you just test the waters in different categories.
have you thought about internships and such?
That's what I was thinking. Even if it's not even a paid internship, just something on the side to, you know,
It gives you
get
work
experience.
experience. Yeah.
Get the real world. I can't tell.
Real world.
Real
world.
world. It's like saying
Real
Arnold
world.
Palmer. Drew messed it up. On that. Real world experience.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, given that and what you're kind of thinking to do, where do you want to be in 5 years? What do you want that to look like, that progression? Because right now you're 20, right?
Yeah.
So you'll be
20 years
25,
old.
which
Mhm.
I'm about to turn 24.
Yeah,
So it'll be like, so we're talking like a little further.
a
a little further than I
where,
am now.
than where you're at.
Yeah. So where do you want to be, and like what would you like those next years to kind of look like? Of course, you can't guess everything that's going to happen, but
you can't guess.
at least what you're trying to do. What would you like to see happen?
Yeah, so obviously with the job thing, hopefully I have a stable job. I don't want to be working where I work right now, because it's not. It's just a temporary job. It's just an interest.
Yeah.
Some
And
people
it's-
are fine with that.
I mean, it's food industry too.
yeah,
so it's,
which is like
entry level, and you're like, I
Yeah,
need
no.
something. You seem like someone who needs something a little more mentally stimulating.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be dipping custard all the time my entire life.
That's good to hear.
But yeah, that's the plan. Have possibly a stable job, or at least advanced into that category. I'll also like maybe a wife. I don't know. That'd be
Damn, 25.
that'd be
you want a wife?
ambitious.
Ambitious. You have your
No,
like your
well,
tier system.
You never know. It's kind of like
You got baseline. Oh, that would be great. Ambitious.
ambitious. It's
Wife.
25.
Hey,
It's definitely possible. I mean, I feel like it's around the average age.
my brother got married at 22. So
Okay,
and he
so-
has 2 kids now. He's 20.
Fair.
He's 25.
He's 25 right now.
He's 25. Wait, or is he 24? About to be 25.
One of the two.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
He's 2 years older than me, but his birthday is in the same month as me, which is December. So, but yeah, so it could happen,
Mm-hmm.
But
But yeah. Either that. I don't know if I'd have kids by then or not.
Yeah.
It's just kind of random. It's like
Mhm.
you can't predict.
yeah, you're not gonna force
You're
it,
not gonna predict.
but if it's there,
if it happens, I'll take it.
yeah,
It'll be interesting to see like where other people will be at the time too, because
Mhm.
like my sister's in college right now, my brother's working as a machinist, and it's like
yeah, that was interesting. It was like, oh man,
yeah,
'Cause that's where you got because you were like, oh, you guys are doing the same thing. I'm like, what do you mean? And machine shop and
Yeah,
I'm doing
roughly.
mechanical. I'm like, that's not quite
the
but
exact same, but
same type of field, but
I know, it's
and it
just like-
can
it's a
it
joke
can
at this
cross
point.
over, but
anything you do is the
yeah.
same as that. But yeah, it'll be it'll be interesting to see where other people at. But yeah, it's that's the goal. I don't want to go backwards in growth from now
Yeah.
on.
And it's really strange to think about like 5 years from now. If I were to think about 5 years from like now, 23, I'd be 28. And 28, by then I would want to be graduated, with having some stable source of income. And
Yeah.
that would be for me potentially a wife too, And I don't know, 28 seems like a good thing. I mean,
I think that's around the average age to marry in the U.S.
yeah, if everything goes as planned, I'll be 28, But of course, shit happens, and you definitely have to sow the seeds, if it makes sense. Like, I think that's the proper. All right, so camera overheated. I thought we fixed that issue, but we'll try to finish this out before it dies again. But we were just talking about like, sowing the seeds of like something great. Like you're not going to just randomly get married unless of course you do habits and make yourself somebody who somebody would want to be with, and you be a good partner, stuff like that. So you don't necessarily have to, go hard on it, but you definitely have to, do things that are going to help
You
that
gotta push
future,
yourself.
that are going to go in the direction of that future, that are going to allow those opportunities to happen. So yeah. So just got 2 questions left, but one of them, how do you influence or impact the people around you?
I try to be. I feel like most people try to be a generally nice guy, and that's the goal. I'm not trying to like. That's not the entire goal, but yeah, I just like to maybe be a little funny sometimes. Just joke around. But it's. Yeah, I mean, there's not.
Yeah,
it's not that crazy deep on the outside, I guess.
Yeah, it's funny because I asked Drew this question, and then he asked me, "What do you think of?" And I was like, I wasn't prepared for that. So I was like so focused on your answer that. But I would say something that I see with you is you have a very thoughtful personality.
Yeah,
and so that's one thing I see when you're in a group and there's a conversation going. You definitely put thought into your input before you put it out there, and it's always good to hear and good to see. You seem like you're always a solid individual to be around. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah. if there's a list of sketchy people, you're not on it. So
okay. I'm not on the list.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I think you just a calming force if you're in a group of people. You're somebody who's like stable. So that's always nice. And last question. what makes you enjoy life?
So yeah, it's even with all the troubles and stuff, it's like I've never thought about, not continuing life. That's just not, I don't know. I feel like I'm a pretty happy kid in general, even though with all the some troubles. But it's like, I mean, even like just looking outside right now, it's like,
Yeah.
It's nice weather. It's like 50 degrees.
Yeah, look at all those
maybe
birds
60.
in the street. Look at
I know
that.
there's tons of birds. It's like we might get swamped with birds.
Yeah. Our
That one movie.
whole wall here is a window, so you don't see it, but we
yeah,
do.
we got the fresh light coming in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, there's so much to look forward to, and like a future wife, kids, traveling to different places, because I've never been out of the country, so it's like there's so much to look forward to. So it's like, just keep rolling on, improving.
Yeah. See what there is to see, I guess.
Mhm. Pretty much.
Yeah. All right. So that's all I got. Thank you for coming here. I know
Mhm.
you were
It was a
talking about
pleasure.
how you're kind of more of a shy individual,
Yeah,
but
so it's like, it's hard
Yeah.
to talk with,
yeah, I know. You always have to like formulate your words before you say them, so it's kind of
Yeah.
difficult on a
Yeah,
podcast because you don't
yeah.
want to like pause for too long, and it's kind of a little nerve wracking to go, oh, this is
Kind
going
of
to
my
be on the
comfort
internet.
zone, but
Yeah.
that's the goal, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was nice having you on. Of course, guys, like and subscribe, hit notification bell. Hopefully I'll have a lot more of these out there. Watch Usa's video as well. It'll explain kind of what's going on with him, why he's kind of pulled back a little, and maybe he'll be on in the future. Maybe he won't. We'll see what's going on. Just watch that video. And then wait for the next ones. And, that's all I got. You want to say anything else?
sounds good.
All right. Well, bye.
Thank you for watching In the Works. Subscribe and like for more.